Hey, so some of you have asked about the Privy situation and what happens when the Privy gets full, because we're out in the middle of the woods here and they can't just bring a pumper truck up here like they may do for a porta potty or something like that. And I thought that was a really good question, and occasionally the Privies do get full. They're not all the same, but here's the objective. I'm going to show you a little bit about this. So this is a Privy. This is a nicer one. And you can see along the bottom it's open, and along the top up here it's open, which helps reduce the odor and it keeps the odor down. Underneath, I'm not going to get close, but underneath here you can see on the one side possibly that there's quite a bit of material. It's pretty high, and on the other side it's not very high. I don't know if you can see in there or not, but it's maybe a third up to the top, a third of the way up to the top. I'm going to show you what takes place here inside. This looks like a pretty big area, and you can see it's well ventilated, and because of that, because it's not enclosed, you tend to have less problems with spiders and things like that. Open around the bottom, which helps reduce the odor. Now, currently the toilet seat is on this side, and if this side gets full, they can simply unscrew that board and move that to this side, take that board off and put it over there, and then start over on this side. In the center here is a bucket of leaf matter, which is referred to as duff. So it's an organic matter. Sometimes, depending on where you're at, they'll have shavings in there, which are really nice, but they have to get them up here somehow. So the idea is, by the time that this one is full, where the stuff gets up to the bottom there, they will simply move it over here and start over here. And during that time, this can decompose and break down. Now, as long as people don't put trash and things that don't break down in there, it's a good idea, and it works really well. Along with that, they ask you, believe it or not, they tell you that you shouldn't pee in there. It's better if you do that out in the woods somewhere, because that actually slows down the decomposition process. So that's what happens in a Privy out here in the forest. Now, they're not all like that, but that's kind of the objective. Sometimes they just, the older ones, and some of them maybe that don't have the same provisions, when that gets full, then they have to scrape it out and deal with it, or possibly relocate it. But this one is a little newer design, and they've thought through that process and figured out what works good. So I'd like to show you all what a Connecticut Privy looks like. We're at a camping area. This isn't a shelter, just a camping area. And they've got a little different mode of thinking for what a Privy should look like here in Connecticut. Now, I'm not complaining, I'm just saying it's different. So we're on the little trail going back here to the to the Privy, and there it is in all its glory. This is a Connecticut Privy. Yes, there it is. No stink, no spiders, no animals to contend with, just the Privy. And you have azaleas and rhododendrons, and you have a wall here of rock. So you've got plenty of, what would you say, just privacy maybe around you. And the Privy, very basic, very simple concept on the side. They have vents with some screen on there. I don't think anything really wants to get in there. There you have it. That's a Connecticut Privy, and I think we might see more of these as we go. And honestly, as strange as it seems, the pleasant thing about this is there is no odor. Well, I mean, not in the Privy, maybe in under the lid, but it's actually pretty nice. So So we are here at Laurel Ridge campsite and Privy. And this is another way to deal with the matter. So some of you have asked about what do they do when the Privy gets full. This is another method of dealing with the stuff. So they have the Privy here, and when the cone, as they call it, gets up too high, we'll go down around the back here. So when the cone in there gets up too high, or at its maximum, they use a shovel and move it, try to knock it down. But when that doesn't work anymore, then they take the whole Privy and they move it over to this side and put this cover on the other side, and then allows that to decompose, and it works relatively well, provided that they keep it dry, so water actually slows down the process. And then a lot of them will have instructions again about the moldering Privy, and they have a box or a bucket in here with leaf matter, which they call duff. And then after you're finished using it, you take a handful of that and throw it inside, and that helps keep down the odor as well as the decomposition process. There you have it. That's actually a pretty nice little Privy here at Laurel Ridge campsite. So this is the board, and it shows where we came in off of the trail, and we are here at this location, and we are actually camping up in this area here. There's a bear box there and a spring down here. Pretty nice little Privy, pretty nice camping area, and we are now in Massachusetts.